How can I educate all consumers in all walks of life to negotiate your interest rate and to understand how the banks work and how commission works?
Sparta Finance really focuses on educating and empowering customers, not just for their own good or your own good, but also for, I think, the broader future is what. So why do you think financial literacy is so important?
Well, 90% of the consumers that we speak with, they say the same thing. We were never taught this. And if we can't be the ones to educate the masses of just the people in our local community and across Canada who we serve, then who is it? Why is it not in our education system? Why is it not a mandatory course in high school? I think that it's extremely important. I believe there's the career and life management that's a mandatory course. I believe, I'm not sure, it's been a while since I went to high school. However, why don't we include with resume writing how to understand credit and getting a loan, especially as a young adult when you're 18 years old and you're fearlessly going out into the world, getting a credit card. All of a sudden you've got $500 or $1,000 to spend there, and maybe you weren't taught the tools to how to manage that or what the creditors are looking at. Little things such as you'll see a lot of young people who maybe, again, they don't have the tools to know how to pay that credit card on time, or how to get loans without a cosigner to build their credit independently, or perhaps having a credit card for several years but leaving the limit at $500. So when that time comes, when you do apply for an auto loan or a leisure loan or a house even, it only appears to the bank that you've managed $500 versus taking on more credit to use as a tool. Not to say that you're going to use it to rely on, but to use it as a tool to make it appear that you can manage $5,000 or $10,000 over the course of that time, which would increase your credit score and the ability to receive money. And it's a big deal because getting a high interest rate versus a low interest rate, especially at a young age or at any age, could mean years and years of paying that debt back, or can mean the difference between getting a house or not. And so it's extremely important to us. We believe that financial knowledge and credit knowledge should be, in our opinion, a mandatory course for young adults. And I believe that it would build a brighter future for them to understand how credit works or just the banking system. Because in reality, I believe most Canadians rely on credit and loans and getting lending. I don't think that almost anyone can buy a house with cash or even a necessity such as an automobile. And there's a huge difference between an interest rate of 4.9% versus 15.9%. And so how can we educate? How can we empower? And how can we also give the tools to the consumers to be able to negotiate? And this is what we mean when we disagree with some of the mentality in the dealership world. And we're not here to judge or to blame. However, when the tone from the top is profit first, did you know that if you are qualified as a prime consumer for almost any asset, whether it's a mortgage or an automobile or a leisure product, that if you qualify for prime, typically it's up to that finance manager or broker that you're in the finance office with to give you the lower interest rate. And so there's a little bit of a lack of transparency there. For example, if you have excellent credit rating and you are buying a vehicle and you go into the finance office and now that specific finance manager has convinced you that the bank has qualified you for 7.9%, when in reality, you actually qualify for 3.9%. So there's a huge lack of transparency there. So how can I educate all consumers in all walks of life to negotiate your interest rate and to understand how the banks work and how commission works, and how that on a $30,000 loan, the dealership will make $2,000 in return from the bank by convincing you to take 8% versus 3.9, for example. And so that's where we come in, and we believe in being honest from the start and transparent and giving people the absolute truth and the absolute best result, and whatever that person qualifies for, let's get them even better, because we know that we will get more consumers that way. And that's when we say honesty is policy, and just being transparent, because we're talking thousands of dollars of a difference that you'll end up paying back the bank, and for what? To get a little bit extra commission. And so how can we continue to build this ability to educate the masses? So those are just some knowledge and information that I think we believe that would help a lot of consumers and Canadians.